And now, coming to you live again from Jacksonville, Florida, the Mars Productions presents Pink Parachute Recovery. And now, your host. Let's give it up for Jeff Deck.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Pink Parachute Recovery. I'm your host, Jeff Deck, and this is a Mars production. Musicians and artists in recovery and sobriety. And I'm so glad so many of y'all are listening. We see the views, we see the count on YouTube and all of our other platforms. Please keep supporting us and sharing our show. We're just trying to spread the word and help people recover and have fun while doing it. And this is my first show solo. And I want to thank Clay for being here today, as he is every single week. What a great job he does with Mars Productions. And, you know, I thought for my first solo show that I would read a passage out the Big Book. And it's just one paragraph. It's almost like if you guys have ever been to one of those Big Book meetings, right? Where they kind of break down the sentences, break down the words, and the whole meeting, the whole hour-long meeting could be on one sentence. Those PPG meetings, love those meetings. And this paragraph here is going to be from the Dr. Bob's Nightmare, and it's the first story in the Big Book. And I want y'all to think about it this way, right? So Bill Wilson gets sober in December of 1934. And he meets Dr. Bob in May of 1935, and Dr. Bob promptly gets sober in June of 1935, right? And they got this message to spread, and they're going all around the place. I mean, they're literally like going, waiting outside bars, going to the sanitariums. They're going to the jails. They're just trying to meet drugs and change the way that they think and trying to help people recover, spread their message, right? And then they get together, and the Big Book gets published in 1939. And once the Big Book is published, that's really when, all these groups started sprouting up, because now there's directions, right? Now there's directions on how to stay sober, how to get sober and stay sober. And, I remember when I came into the rooms and all the old timers, they would say, the answer's in the book, son, the answer's in the book. Oh, my goodness, Clay, I hated the old timers. The answer's in the books. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, who wants to get clean and sober and read, Clay? I don't want to read. I mean, when I was in high school reading, come on, I know how to skim read real well. And to be honest with you, that's what I did for the first 4 years of my sobriety. Not proud of it. Don't do it the way I did it, right? But they write this book, right? And the first 164 pages, of course, the doctor's opinion is before chapter 1. Okay, so that chapter right there, man, it's changed my life. It tells me why I can never drink again. Okay, with the allergy phenomenon craving, obsession in the mind. Dr. Silkworth up in Towns Hospital there. Okay, but then you get chapter 1, right? And that's Bill's story, obviously. Okay, Bill founded this whole thing, Bill's story, and then you get the rest of the chapters. Then we get to the personal stories. So it's only right that the first personal story is Dr. Bob's Nightmare. So the first 164 pages are our directions, and then the first story is Dr. Bob. And on the very last page of Dr. Bob's story, in the very last paragraph, this is what he writes. If you think you are an atheist, an agnostic, a skeptic, that was me, Clay, I was a skeptic, or have any form of intellectual pride, that was me, Clay. I'm smart enough to beat this game alone. I'm Catholic, Clay. You ain't gonna tell me nothing about God. I don't need those God steps. Which keeps you from accepting what is in this book. Stop. And again, we could have difference of opinion, okay? But Dr. Bob is saying if you're this, or this, which keeps you from accepting what's in this book. Now let's retract to what I was saying at the beginning of the show. The first 164 pages are the directions. The first story is Dr. Bob. So Bob is telling me there, which keeps me from accepting what is being directed to me of how to stay clean and sober in the first 164 pages. So it's telling me about the first 164 pages. I go through the first 164 pages, but it's still telling me that from an atheist, an agnostic, a skeptic, or I still have that intellectual pride that I could beat the game alone, okay? It tells me, and I'm not saying this, Dr. Bob is saying this, I feel sorry for you. Damn, that's pretty rough, Clay. Let's put Dr. Bob on our fourth step right there. Yeah. So let's read it again all in one sentence. If you think you're an atheist, an agnostic, a skeptic, or have any form of intellectual pride which keeps you from accepting what is in this book, I feel sorry for you. If you think you are strong enough to beat the game alone. That was me too, Clay. That is your affair. You know what? When you're ready, Clay, I'm here. But that's your affair. I can't get you drunk. I can't get you sober. That's what that's telling me right there. But, and here's the but, right? Here's the but. You know, somebody in Jacksonville says this, and she got it from somebody who got it from somebody, because none of us made this stuff up by ourselves. We've all, you know, heard something and shared it, and that's how this works, okay? This book is full of promises and death threats. So if you do it this way, you're going to get this, Clay. But if you do it that way, oh, shit, you're going to get that. So if you think you are strong enough to beat this game alone, that is your affair. But if you really and truly want to quit drinking liquor for good and all, and sincerely feel that you must have some help, we know we have an answer for you. Not, we may have an answer. Not maybe. No, this is Dr. Bob saying this. So let's stop again there. If this is Dr. Bob telling me that they know they have an answer for me, they know it, okay? And that goes into the next line. It never fails, Clay. So we know we have an answer for you. It never fails. Dr. Bob is writing that. This is his story. The book was published in 1939. Millions upon millions have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind, body, and soul. Okay? The only step that alcohol is mentioned is step 1. 2 through 12 fix the problem. The problem is me. I don't know how to live life on life terms. So Dr. Bob is telling me 80 years ago, just about 80 years ago, right? A little more. That if I want to recover, I am going to do what this book tells me to do, because it never fails. It fails when I start going at it alone. It fails when I want to play by different rules, Jeff's rules. It fails when I think that these rules don't apply to me. But why do they apply to you? I want what you got, Clay, but I'm unwilling to do what you're doing, Clay. That's the great lie about this. It never fails if, here's the if, Clay. That's that promise and death threat again. You go about it one half the zeal, action. You have been in the habit of showing you were getting another drink. Wait a second. Whoa. I don't understand what you're telling me, Clay. If I go about my recovery with half the action that I went about getting my drink, I'm going to stay recovered and live a happy life? How is that possible? Well, I'm going to tell you, for me, how it's possible. And again, this is just my opinions. Let me see. I'm a size 14 shoe. I remember my brother was a size 12. I remember it was middle of the night. I lived on City Line, right, which means is the line separating Queens and Brooklyn. I was fiending to go get my drink and drug on. I put on his rollerblades, Clay. I don't know how to rollerblade, and I rollerbladed my happy ass into East New York about 2 miles. I didn't know how to stop, Clay. I'm grabbing telephone poles. I'm from up north, Clay. Okay? You know how many times I took that trek, that walk in the snow to get what I wanted? Rob, steal, thieve, con, manipulate to get what I wanted. Okay? It's a full-time damn job for somebody like me to drink and drug. And that's right. When I read the word drink, I immediately put the word drug in there too. I ain't trying to change the book, but for me, I need to include both because I'm dually addicted. I wanted it all, and I was willing to do anything to get my drink on, anything to get my drug. It was a full-time job when I was drinking and drugging all day long. And God forbid I wanted to stop drinking or drugging, Clay. I swear it off, right? I wake up in the morning, I get past that first hour or two. I'm shaking. So what happens that whole day when I'm trying not to drink? I'm thinking about drinking. It's another full-time job. So I sit here in front of you today with a sobriety dated June 14th, 2013. And I never want to graduate. I'm a rookie, and I'm okay being a rookie. But let's just say this. energy drink I'm holding in my hand is maybe some vodka or maybe some gin or whiskey or brandy, and I take a sip out of that, and let's say it's 3 p.m., I guarantee you at 3:01, like the doctor's opinion says, that allergy that I have that's never going to leave me will be set off into the obsession of the mind, the phenomenon of craving. I guarantee you that at 3:02 p.m., I'm going to be making plans, Clay. I'm going to be calling my wife. Hey, baby, my job just called. There's a COVID outbreak. I'm not coming home. I don't want to get you sick. I'm going to call my job. Hey, listen, all my kids and my wife are sick. There's a COVID outbreak at my house. I can't come to work. Guess what? I'm covered. I've been out the game a little bit. Gas station is real close, or is that Daly's? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go there because I'm going to need to find out when they stop selling beer again. And I drink hard. So when I drink quickly, and I black out quickly. So you know what? Me, I'm duly addicted. I'm going to have to find out where they sell all the cocaine because I need that shit quick to do what I love to do, and that's drink. Okay? The main problem the alcoholic centers in the mind. My mind is screwed right now. And it's only 3:15. I got all that stuff out the way. And guess what? I got some money because I'm a little bit sober. Ain't no more one-star hotel, Clay. I'll get a 3-star hotel because I need to save a little because I know that I'm going to go out there. Yeah. Make sure that 3-star hotel is pretty close to a store, though, because I don't want to drink and drive, even though I know I'm going to wind up drinking and driving. Who am I going to get my blow from, Clay? Because I've been out the game a little bit. You know who I'm going to call? I'm going to call you out there listening. Those who are still drinking and drugging, because I know certain of you are. And I know who is. And I have your numbers. So I'm going to call you, and I'm going to join your party or invite you to join my party. God's nowhere in sight. It's a full-time job, Clay. So you're telling me that if I go about my recovery with half of that action, then I'm going to live a happy life. Now, let me ask you something. If I went out my recovery with, say, a little more than half the zeal, man, how good is life? So I'm putting maybe 60% into my recovery, maybe 75%. Maybe I'm going full-blown recovery Jeff today, 100%. Man, what? You're telling me I'm going to get these promises in the first 164 pages by going at it with half the zeal, Dr. Bob? Man, how many more promises could happen if I go at it really hard? How many more? And then the last line tells me, your heavenly Father will never let you down. Exclamation point. So let's read it again. Your heavenly Father will never let you down. Dr. Bob wrote that, not me. In other words, retract again to the first 164 pages. That one is God. May you find him now. And it doesn't matter what your vision is of him or her or them or it. Find something more powerful than myself. And if I could do that, if I could just get out of my own damn way, man, life is good. Life is good. So let's think of some of those things that I could do, right? It never fails if I go about it with half the zeal. And that's a little bit of the concept of the show, the pink parachute, the tools of the program. And I love Brian L. out at Penman Road, the beach. I'm sure, I don't know if he got it from somebody. He probably did. But he does this great. It's his relapse prevention plan. And I teach this at Stepping Stone where I work. And that's one of my group concepts right there, Clay. I teach a recovery class group, where I go over that paragraph with them and I hand them that paragraph to keep with them, right? But let's say that this is the drink. What are some of the things that they tell me to do when I first get here, Clay? I mean, what's the first thing they tell me to do? Oh, I better go to a meeting. Okay, so here I'm going to a meeting. What's next? You got to get a sponsor, right? I don't know. What's next? They tell me, get a bunch of phone numbers and call another alcoholic. They tell me, make sure you're working the steps with that sponsor, right? They tell me, well, how about praying? How about meditating? Okay? How about service work? Okay? How about showing up early before the meeting, after the meeting? Let's keep going. Let's rewind the tape. Let's fast forward the tape. Okay? Let's move a muscle, change a thought. Let's go for a run. Let's go for a hike. Let's go for a swim. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that my drink is getting further and further away from me as I'm putting these cards from my wallet in front of me, which are the tools of the program, which is the pink parachute. But what happens when I stop doing these things? One after the other, after the other, after the other. That drink is getting closer and closer and closer until I'm left with nothing but that drink. In other words, I'm drunk in the mind before I even take that drink. So I need these things in front of me. I need to do certain things. That's the zeal. That's the action. It is a program of action. Program of action. Today, I'm grateful that I woke up and I got right into action. Today, just for me, and this is what I was told early on too, right? I immediately have to ask God for a day of sobriety. And guess what? I can't remember the last day I didn't do that. I really can't remember. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't go out the window when I turn out my driveway and I get on Merrill and I jump on the freaking highway and the guy doesn't use his damn turn signal, right, Clay? Damn Jacksonville, right? But I'm able to refocus and come back. Okay? That's why they call it one day at a time, folks. Just for today, what am I going to do for my sobriety? I need to wake up and suit up because I'm going into battle, y'all. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this solo episode of Pink Parachute Recovery, and I'm looking forward to doing more solo episodes. And every time I do one, it's going to be about some kind of literature. Because guess what? Remember what those old timers told me? And I'm going to tell you now, even though I ain't no old timer or close to it. The answer is in the book, y'all. Please start studying. Thank you so much, Clay. God bless.